1954. A bedroom mirror in Terre Haute, Indiana, where a woman in her early 20s fixes her hair before a dance. She is 22. He will be waiting downstairs, 48, hat in hand. She already knows what tonight will cost her. Here are 15 things 1950s society said about women who loved older men. Said to her face, behind her back, and in print. The cruelest part was never what strangers thought. It was what her own mother repeated at the kitchen table. Number 15. She is only after his money. The default accusation. If a young woman was seen with an older man, the first word out of every mouth was money. Gold digger, fortune hunter. The phrase required no evidence. In 1955, a man in his mid-40s earned roughly $4,800 a year. A young woman working as a secretary brought home about $2,600. She could not afford a winter coat from the Montgomery Ward catalog at $18.95 without saving for 2 months. A ring at Zales cost $75 to $125. If he bought her a handbag, the neighbor counted it as proof. If she refused the gift, they said she was playing a longer game. She could not win. The accusation never needed evidence because the jury was already seated. A woman's financial vulnerability was created by the same world that punished her for solving it. But the money accusation was the polite version. What they said about her body was sharper, and they said it lower. Number 14. She must have trapped him. A younger woman used her body to ensnare a man who should have known better. She lured him. She got her hooks in. The language was predatory, and the predator was always her. McCall's and Ladies' Home Journal ran Playtex advertisements promising the figure he wants to come home to. A Revlon lipstick in Fire and Ice cost $1.10 in 1952. Women were told to cultivate beauty every hour of every day, but that beauty was only approved within narrow lines: the right man, the right age, the right occasion. The same beauty she spent her life being told to perfect became the weapon she was accused of using. The trap was not hers. It was the accusation itself. Number 13. What would her father think? The appeal to paternal authority. Any woman dating a much older man had either lost her father's guidance or defied it. Either way, she was fatherless in spirit. Courtship in the 50s had a physical architecture. A young man came to the porch. He shook the father's hand. His car was inspected, his shoes, his employment. Emily Post's etiquette made it plain. A suitor presented himself to the father first. Now imagine a 40-year-old man walking up that porch to shake hands with a 45-year-old father. The silence in that living room, the clock on the mantel. The question was never about her father. It was about reminding her that her choices still belonged to a man. Number 12. A decent girl would not. A woman who dated a much older man was sorted into a category and the door locked behind her. Decent girls married boys from church, boys their own age, boys their mothers approved. The sorting happened in specific rooms. The church fellowship hall, the PTA meeting, aisle 3 at the A&P where 2 women with shopping carts could do more damage than a newspaper, the neighbor who stopped inviting her for coffee, the Eastern Star chapter that filled her chair, the garden club that met the first Tuesday of every month. Each one ran on the same currency. Reputation. Decent was never a moral standard. It was a membership card, and the dues were obedience. Number 11. He will leave her for someone even younger. The warning dressed as concern. A man who chose a younger woman once would do it again. She was not special. She was a phase. Hollywood reinforced it monthly. Clark Gable married 5 times. Confidential magazine launched in 1952 at 15 cents a copy and built its circulation on the romantic wreckage of older men and younger women. The warning was always delivered gently. Kitchen table, GE percolator, a hand on her arm. I just do not want to see you get hurt, honey. The warning was not about protecting her, it was about predicting her punishment and making sure she knew it was coming. The warnings came from people who loved her. The ones who barely knew her had their own vocabulary, borrowed from medical textbooks. Number 10, there must be something wrong with her, the psychological diagnosis. A young woman who chose an older man was assumed to be damaged, emotionally incomplete. The language came straight from the pop psychology flooding post-war America. Dr. Spock published Baby and Child Care in 1946. 25 cents in paperback. By the early 50s, Freudian vocabulary had reached the kitchen table in Akron, Ohio. Electra complex, father fixation. Ladies' Home Journal ran articles explaining why certain women made certain choices. The explanation was always a diagnosis. The new suburban therapist at $15 a session turned a woman's love life into a case study. They made her choice into a symptom, not a decision. A diagnosis does not need your permission to be applied. Every one of these accusations had the same architecture. They started with her choice and ended with her character. The choice itself was never examined on its own terms. It was only evidence of damage or greed or manipulation or failure. The woman disappeared behind the verdict. A woman who could be reduced to a motive was a woman who could be controlled. Number 9, she will regret it when he is old, the prophecy. She would become his nurse. She would waste her best years pushing a wheelchair while her friends' husbands played golf at the municipal course. Average male life expectancy in 1950 was 65.6 years. Metropolitan Life published the tables in popular magazines right next to the soap advertisements. If he was 45 when they married, the math gave her 20 years before the decline. A nursing home cost roughly $150 a month in 1955. The image they painted was specific. Pill bottles on the nightstand. Sunday afternoons alone. Nobody warned the young wife of a young husband that he might drink himself silent by 45. The prophecy was selective. It only applied to the woman already marked. Number 8. People will talk. Not a specific accusation, something worse. The invocation of collective surveillance. People will talk meant you are being watched, and you have already been found wanting. The party line telephone. 4 to 8 households sharing a single line. The operator at the exchange who could listen to any call. The beauty parlor where a shampoo and set cost $1.50 and the real business happened under the dryer hoods. The drugstore soda counter at Rexall where the pharmacist knew every prescription in town. In a city like Terre Haute, with over 60,000 people, information still crossed from the east side to the west in under 4 hours. People will talk was not a warning, it was a confession. The speaker was telling her, I am one of the people, and I have already started. Number 7, she will never fit in with his friends. His friends' wives were 15 or 20 years older. She would sit at their dinner parties with nothing to say. Tolerated, never welcomed. Saturday night, 4 couples. Canadian Club whiskey at $4.85 a fifth. Martinis in the chrome shaker. The women discussing teenagers applying to college. Her children not yet born. The potluck rotation and the younger wife bringing a casserole that was the wrong recipe. Seated at the far end of the table, his hand finding hers under the tablecloth. The older woman across the table noticing and looking away. She was not rejected for who she was. She was rejected for when she was born. That is a door no amount of charm can open. His friends judged her quietly over cocktails. Her own friends judged her louder. And the next accusation cut deeper because it came from women who were supposed to understand. Number 6. She just wants a father figure. She did not love him. She was filling a void. The relationship was not a partnership. It was therapy she was too proud to pay for. Father figure entered kitchen table vocabulary by the mid-1950s. Dear Abby launched in 1956. Ann Landers in 1955. Both treated the younger woman as the patient, not the partner. But the diagnosis was not delivered by a doctor. It was delivered by a sister-in-law at Thanksgiving, a co-worker at the shoe factory, the woman in the next pew at First Methodist who said it like she was offering a cough drop. The accusation stripped the relationship of its dignity. It told her that her own feelings were not real, that she was too broken to know the difference between love and need. That is not advice. That is erasure. Notice what every accusation has in common. Not one asked her a question. Not one said, "Tell me about him." Not one said, "Are you happy?" The vocabulary of judgment did not have a word for her experience. It only had words for her error. An entire community could discuss her life for months without considering the possibility that she had chosen freely. That silence was the cruelest thing of all. Number 5. No minister would bless that union, not a scriptural objection. There was no Bible verse against it, but a minister who married them risked his congregation's disapproval. The objection was social, dressed in vestments. Methodist, Baptist, Presbyterian, Lutheran. Church membership determined who brought the casserole when your mother died. The minister's study with the oak desk and the funeral home calendar on the wall. Premarital counseling where the pastor circled the age difference without naming it. A church wedding cost $50 for the sanctuary and $10 for the organist. Some couples drove to the next county for a justice of the peace at $5 because their own pastor declined. The church did not forbid the marriage. It made the marriage feel forbidden. For a woman raised in that pew, that was the same thing. Number 4. His children will never accept her. If the older man was a widower or divorced, the younger woman inherited a family that did not want her. She was the intruder, the replacement, the Thanksgiving table with an empty chair, the first wife's photograph still on the hallway wall, the teenage daughter closer in age to the new wife than to her own father. Christmas gifts chosen carefully and received with a flat thank you. Sunday dinners where conversation moved around her like water around a stone. The casserole that was not the way their mother made it. The pot roast too dry. The pie crust store-bought. She married a man. They told her she married a verdict. And the jury was at the dinner table every night. Number 3. She is ruining her chances. By choosing an older man, she removed herself from the market of age-appropriate suitors. If it ended, she would be older, damaged in their word, and unmarriageable. The median age of first marriage for women in 1950 was 20.3. A woman single at 25 was an old maid, not slang, the actual phrase printed in magazines. She watched her friends' bridal showers from the folding chair. She read the wedding announcements in the paper at $3 to place. Today, the average is 28.6. What was once a death sentence is now a Tuesday. They called it ruining her chances. What they meant was she had spent her only bargaining chip on the wrong hand. In a world where marriage was a woman's only economic future, that was not advice. It was a threat. The threats came wrapped in numbers, years, odds, chances wasted. But the final accusations had nothing to do with arithmetic. They were about something the people saying them could barely name. Number 2. What happens behind closed doors? The sexual insinuation. the whispered suggestion that whatever happened between them was deviant or degrading. The age gap made the intimacy suspect by definition. I Love Lucy premiered in 1951. Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz slept in twin beds on camera even though they were married. But America could not stop whispering in private. The Kinsey Report on Female Sexuality came out in 1953 at $8 a copy. It scandalized the country and sold 250,000 copies in 2 months. A nation that could not say the word in daylight spent its evenings speculating at the beauty parlor, the knowing look across the fellowship hall. They would not say what they meant. They only pointed at the closed door and let the imagination finish. The accusation did not need words. Silence was enough. 15 on accusations, and not one was about him. Not his judgment, not his motives. He was experienced. He knew what he was doing. Every whisper and every warning landed on her side of the table. He poured the coffee. She drank the verdict. That was not a flaw in the system. That was the system. Number 1. She does not really love him. She is just afraid of being alone. The worst of all. Not that she was greedy or broken or scheming. That she was not capable of real love. That her choice was not love, but fear. That she was too weak to face her own life without someone to lean on. This cut deepest because it struck at the one thing the culture said she was born for: love. Modern Bride launched in 1949 and filled every page with devotion. Patti Page sang Tennessee Waltz in 1950. Rosemary Clooney sang Hey There in 1954. An entire civilization built a mythology around a woman's heart and then told this particular woman that hers was counterfeit. The look on her face the first time she heard it from someone she trusted. The kitchen. The coffee going cold. They could survive the gossip about money. They could outlast the church whispers. But this one, that her love was not real, settled into the chest like a stone and stayed for 40 years. There is no argument that disproves it, no evidence to present. The only proof of love is a life lived, and she was never given credit for that. Somewhere in a small town in 1955, a woman heard every one of these things and married him anyway. Not because she did not hear them, because she decided her own life was not a committee decision. She wore the white dress, she carried the flowers, and she did not explain herself, not once, not to anyone.